is so key because that's the closest person to you. And that person can hurt you deeper
than anybody else.
So being careful with who you join yourself with is important. And also, when you get that right person, protecting them, treating them well, sowing into them. If you want to reap a harvest, what are you sowing? What are you planting? Because if you're not planting the right things, you can't expect to reap the right things. And that's also about mindset. I had to look back at my parents, my grandparents, my aunts and uncles. What kind of attitudes was I raised with? I was not raised with the healthiest attitudes about relationships. And I had to say, okay, this is what I was given. I'm going to keep what's valuable and I'm going to throw away the rest. And I'm going to replace it with something that actually is going to be helpful to me. Because some of the mindsets, or some of the, my grandmother, she put up with a lot. She put up with too much, My mother, they knew how to stay married. And I could learn from them some commitment. But I also had to realize that I don't need to be suffering like, those women suffered. So
they put up with a lot for the sake of the family, for the sake of the marriage. And we do learn some things. Like I look at it, I was like, I want those 30, 40 years. I do. I want to be able to say, oh, I've been married for umpteen years. And I'm like, so like for me, we're coming on 9 years, and these 9 years have gone by so fast. But you look at it and you're looking at your, like you said, the grandparents and things like that, and how long they were married. And it's one of those where you're kind of, I know I have what it takes to say, yes, I'm going to make sure my marriage works or whatever. But if it doesn't, then I'm going to be okay with that too. And then, but what we'll have to understand at that point is that if anything ever happened between me and my husband, I would want us to separate and still be on good terms.
Right.
And just know that, okay, maybe we weren't the right fit for each other, and not be where I done broke him down so much to where he's not going to be good for nothing else.
Right.
And vice versa. I would hope he'd do the same. So like you said, the soil, what are you planting? But the thing is, if that's your soil, are you taking care of your soil first? Are you fertilizing it? Are you making sure you're tilling it? Are you going through the pruning process and figuring out this little trait of mine is not really that good. I'm gonna need to work on that before you. Hey, so I understand, because when getting with him, there are some things like it's gonna be some things that I'm gonna have to change. I'm very much independent. I can be very headstrong when I want my way. You can't always do that in the marriage. I still want my way, but all the time I don't get my way all the time. And he'll tell me, you pouting over there is not gonna move me. But it's like learning. And like you said, being in those long relationships and you learning, but then you also learning certain things that now we're at a different age. We got all these memes saying, I'm not my ancestors. That's probably one of them that fits for this too. It's like, it's certain things we not going to put up with. Back in the day, great grandma, she knew he had 2 girlfriends. As long as he brought his check home every Friday. But she didn't care about those other 2 girlfriends. Me, on the other hand, I want your check and you better not have no girlfriends. We different. We not the same. So, yes.
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes if you can't control your mouth,